today is appreciation for always looking out for me. I give glory to the one who can stand my I needed peace of mind. God came and I got along. And left all of my past. Couldn't find a rhyme or reason for the challenges of that season. But he answers my prayer. And he healed me without a
Well, the Bible declares this is the day that the Lord has made, and we ought to rejoice and be glad there in it. Grace and peace to all of my Father's children. How great it is to be here once again. How great it is for how good it is for us to be here once again on this awesome Wednesday here with the Citadel of Life Church. Truly, we thank God for allowing us to be here once again. I am Pastor P.Reschard, senior pastor of the Citadel of Life Church here in the city of Pembroke Township, where we do what? We live life abundantly. And we count it a privilege. We count it an honor to be here once again on another Wednesday for our Bread of Life experience. On behalf of my wife, co-pastor Felicia Sherelle, we greet you in divine love. So we won't get in trouble. We do not own the rights to the songs that we did play. Our first selection was my favorite song. Was my favorite song back in the day. Still is. Um, Philadelphia Mass Choir. Everything has worked out all right. I loved that song when I was a kid. I even love it now as an adult. And then also, it's this song has kind of been hooked on me now that Christopher Watkins featuring Sherry Moffitt, God Came Through for Me. That's somebody's testimony when you didn't know how you were gonna make it, you didn't know how you were gonna take it. God came through for me. I can attest in my own life. Sometimes my month was longer than my bank account. I didn't know how. Sometimes I didn't know how I was gonna get to work. I didn't know how rent or bills were gonna be paid, but somehow God came through and it worked out for my good. He came through for me. I know that's somebody's testimony here on tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again for joining us. I can't express how much gratitude I have for you joining us tonight for this Bread of Life experience. Please join us here every Wednesday right here on Facebook Live. And then also, we are what they call simulcasting as we speak right now. We are on YouTube as well too. If you're trying to catch us on YouTube, please do that. Put in the search engine at Citadel of Life 3. No spaces. Citadel of Life 3. Once you hit enter, you will see our church emblem right behind us. And we thank you. We are here every Wednesday at 6:55. And then we come back on Sunday at 7:25 on both um, streaming mechanisms. And we are grateful, we are honored, and we are privileged. Thank you for your continued support during this ministry. We are believing God for greater things. This is just the beginning. We're just in the infant stages. Somebody said if we keep being faithful and keep our hands to the plow, God will do some amazing things. We definitely want to keep those that are going through in prayer, those that have been in bereavement, those that are just starting bereavement. We are praying for you. It seems like every time I turn around, someone is someone is passing away, someone is dying. As they would say, the hearse wheels are rolling, and you got to be prayed up. You got to be ready for his coming. Bible says no man knows when he shall appear, but when he does appear, he shall come like a thief in the night. I remember just a couple weeks ago, people were saying that the rapture was coming. And when my alarm went off at 4 a.m., I was like Albertina Walker, I'm still here. Did not come. He has not come yet, because even Jesus said, I don't even know when he's coming. So if Jesus himself doesn't know, don't think you have an inside scoop on what God can and what God will do. As I said, God is still doing great things in the lives of those that trust and believe. Tonight, wanted to just share my heart tonight. Um, Nothing really going on, but I believe that there are some things that are going on in the body of Christ that we definitely need to address. Definitely need to address. I would encourage, you know, I would encourage folks that are already in church, stay with the church. While the church is not perfect, because there are imperfect people in church. There are imperfect people. I heard one of the church mothers said, "You will never find a perfect church, and if you do find a perfect church, it's it shows its imperfections the day you join." Amen. And so you'll never find a perfect church, but you ought to be in a church that is striving for perfection. I believe there are some churches that are out here that still are, that are trying to walk they are trying to walk the the righteous road. And then there are some that do what they do. That's another day. That's another discussion for another day. But I do want to talk about some things that have that have disturbed me. A lot of times in the church world, we find a lot of our people being taken advantage of. We find a lot of our people, those that are willing to help, those that will be there when you call them. Um, we kind of mistake. Um, we kind of make a mistake of mixing servanthood into just out and out taking advantage of people because they know what they know that Johnny will be there. He doesn't have anything better to do. He's not gonna get mad. He's not gonna leave. Let me back up. Let me back up. As you all know, I grew up in church all my life. That's all I know. Um, Cousins and family used to make fun of me and call me church boy. And as years went on rather, found it to be true. Actually, they were not saying anything malicious. They were not saying anything mean, but they were really telling the truth. Um, I was born and raised in the church. I worked in the church. I was in the choir. I directed the choir for a little bit. I was Sunday school superintendent. One church, I launched a men's ministry at one church I belonged to. Also, during that time, I was also I've been in the number two seat behind my pastor. If there was anything my pastor needed, I was there, whether it be teaching, whether it be anything with him preaching in his stead. If he's away, if he's sick or on an assignment, it's been left in my hands. And so I was taught, I was raised that at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we're all servants. We're all serving. We're serving God's people. That's from the pulpit to the main floor to the balcony to the overflow. At the end of the day, we are all servants. And I think in the last 20 years, we have misunderstood servanthood for um, taking advantage of people who are just trying to help, if that makes sense. There are some people who have a genuine heart, and all they want to do is serve, And a lot of times, um, our leadership team takes advantage of that because of their pure heart. And I believe in the church today, the way we've been acting, the way we've been conducting ourselves as leaders has become damaging to the body. Because here's the thing, when you're in the world, you expect people, you expect to be talked about. You expect people not to treat you the way you should be treated. You expect for people to talk about you. You expect for people to disrespect you. But when it comes into the church, a lot of times when we come into the church, we're treated worse in church than we are in the world. It has become very damaging to think that the world has a better respect code than the church. It has become amazing. It has become diabolical, if you will, that the world has a better respect code than the church. Prime example, two unbelievers will help each other out before two church folks will. Case in point, two men. I remember I was working at a factory. Two guys that I knew, they knew God, they didn't go to church. So one guy's car broke down and another guy said, "Man, I don't know how I'm gonna get to work." And the other guy said, "Well, you know what? Until you get your stuff together, until you get your car together, I'm gonna come pick you up." And we find that very in a reverse place in the church, where not all, but some of us won't even have the courtesy to take our fellow brothers or sisters home after church, knowing you may have had a long walk to church, or you may have taken the bus to church. We're very easy to tell folks we're not going that way. We and see, here's the thing: it's like you expect that from the world, but when you come into church, you would think that everybody has a kind heart. And that's why it's very clear to understand everybody doesn't come to church for the same thing. Everybody doesn't come to worship for the same intention. A lot of times when we come into settings, when we come into the church settings, a lot of times people have their own different agendas. Just like it's just like preaching the gospel. A lot of everyone, everyone is in the poop. Everyone that mounts the desk does not have the same intentions at heart. Are y'all hearing me tonight? There are some that have made preaching the gospel a full-time career, and there's nothing wrong with that. Here's where we get in trouble with when we find out when it is no longer about the word or folks being saved or people getting delivered and healed by the preaching of the gospel. When that becomes irrelevant, then that's an issue. uh that's an issue. And then we have a lot of integrity issues that are going on. I've been preaching 15 years, and there have been times, especially when I first started preaching, that I was at the end of the day, I was misused and mishandled and mistreated because of the purity of my heart and my intentions. Only thing I wanted to do was serve, because that's what I was raised to do. I was taught that you serve. You serve. You get into any capacity that's needed. And see, a lot of times when you have that pure of a heart, that's a target sometimes for pastors to take advantage of. I can always count on them. But then you treat them like trash. I knew it was going to get quiet right in there. And we have to be careful, especially, I found something real disturbing. And it has happened to me. A lot of times, and see, a lot of pastors, a lot of preachers are not pure in their assignment. I was looking on Facebook, and it's been all over. So it's nothing that I can't talk about because it is swarming the internet. A young man, I don't know if he was out of his city. I know he's originally from Houston, Texas. I'm not going to call any names. A lot of us know the story. He went to preach this 3-night revival. The last night they got up and said, we want to raise him a good offering. Want to raise him a good offering. And I'm assuming that they met the goal they wanted to meet. Don't know the details on that. But then as the story goes on, his wife's car breaks down and he has his envelope. He thinks he's okay. And then when he gets to towing the car, he goes in it and he finds out that they didn't give him what was raised to him. And here's the thing, people of God, let me be clear. Let me be clear about what I'm going to say, because I know I'm going to get in trouble, because whatever you do online is magnified. And it may go viral and it may not. I don't care. But if we have to have more integrity than what we're having. Because here's the thing, is that this and preaching, I believe when you preach, there's church is supposed to take care of the man of God. As old folks say, we can't pay you, but here's a little something to help you on your way. I believe we should take care of the man of God, especially if after he's poured out his heart, he spent time praying, he spent time fasting on what to tell. He spent time consulting God on what he or she will say to his people, only to determine that they're not taking, they haven't taken care of the man or woman of God as they should have. And here's the thing, it becomes very damaging. And no, is not, and let me say this, at this point, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. I can say that for me. I'm a working pastor. It's not about the money, but it's the principle of it all. Because just think now, and see, here's the thing. We've become very guilty of guilting these preachers. We've become very guilty. Here it is. And I'm throwing a number out. We've preached $100 sermon, and you want to give 25, and then when the preacher looks at you funny, you want to guilt him and say, well, only what you do for Christ will last, which is true. But however, you need to be fair, that this young man, this woman of God, this man of God has come from wherever. He's fasted, he's toiled, he's consulted with God, and you've just stiffed him. And now I understand why preachers and pastors nowadays, and I understand why now when you invite some guys or women to preach, before they say okay, you have to agree to their terms, whether it be um a deposit. It may be you may have to give them something up front, because we've spent because see, a lot of these guys, you spent airfare, you spent gas, and then here it is, and some of us have left our families to preach the gospel, and then we come back with $15 because you were dishonest. And let me tell somebody here that's looking on this line, when we're setting up revivals and conferences, and other preaching synopsis and things like that, be upfront with these people. Are you hearing me tonight? Be upfront with them. Let them know if there's not a budget. And truth be told, if you ain't got no if you can't, you don't have any business giving anything if you don't have a budget. But there are times where churches want to give stuff, but be upfront with these guys that you're bringing. Let them know, hey. And that's happened to me where I've been invited some places and the pastor say, hey, Sherelle, we want to bring you, but we don't have a budget to pay you. Okay, you've been up front. Since you've been up front with me, I'll fool with you, because you told me from you told me from the beginning on what you're dealing with. And sometimes we have to have a sense, with preachers, we have to have a sense of discernment. Because there are times, even though they may not have the funds to take care of you, sometimes there are some moments where we need to be in that place. And so they're not so much you have some that are engagements, and then there are some that are assignments. There are sometimes it's not so much about the honorarium. Sometimes you're assigned to be in that place. I hope I'm helping somebody tonight. There are some times where we're assigned to be in those places, but understand, pastors, you're not getting lost. You're not getting off the hook tonight, but you have to we have to stop taking advantage of those who have a prayer heart. I heard I didn't hear, but I saw one of the personalities on Facebook say, I understand why preachers have become hirelings. We won't come for a certain amount because of stuff like this. We've taken advantage of a pure heart. And now that heart, that soul is damaged because either you're not being honest or you doing some sneaky stuff. One or the other or both. And it needs to stop. Calling for his church to have some type of accountability and integrity. Are you listening to me tonight? No more can we continue to do what we're doing, because we're not just losing the pew, but we're losing the pulpit as well. It's just not the pew that's leaving churches. It's those that have made the have made the declaration that you're gonna preach his word, you're gonna tell it wherever they may go. Those are the ones that are leaving the post because they've been misguided. Not misguided, but they've been mishandled. They've been misused. They've been manipulated. They've been anything else. They've been everything under the sun. They've even been manipulated. And that just doesn't go for that just don't go for preaching. That goes for musicians as well too. Stop using these kids and not paying them. I'll say it again. Stop hiring these kids and not paying them. Because you're doing it all in the name of the church. Needs to stop to be put on it right now. Immediately. Because if the ones that we're taking advantage of, those are the ones that we're hurting. You get a young man, want to play the drums, he can play the drums, he's gifted. You tell him $75 or $100 a week, and here you come, he's ready for his check, and you tell him, Doc, I like your spirit, but we didn't get the money that we thought we was going to get, and we'll take care of you next Sunday. And next Sunday comes, and you give him the same story. I need you to stop. If you can't afford to pay him, leave him alone. Because here's the thing. Number one, he's coming for a job. Number two, his heart is pure, but you're damaging him or her. Pastors, we need to stop taking advantage because of our titles, because of our positions. And then here's the thing, it becomes manipulation. And here's the thing, we keep telling them the same thing to shut us up. I remember my cousin was playing for a church in the city and gave him that same story. Hey, man, I like you. You know, I like your spirit. We didn't get what we thought we was going to get. Come back. Come Thursday. He went Thursday. The church was locked up. But he still served because the preacher told him he would get it Thursday. He thought about it. He came back Sunday, played his heart out, gave him the same story. That needs to stop. We need to be the men and women of God. We need to be of integrity. Are you listening to me tonight? It's time out for aware manipulation. That means you're manipulating people and you're aware of it. As my friend would say, you conscious. We got to get back right. We got to get back. We got to get back into it. Because we're losing people. The world should not look better than the church. What good is it for the church to have a future and we're running them off? What good is it to say that our young people is the future and we're taking advantage of the future? We're manipulating the future. We're misguiding the future. We're misleading the future. We're mishandling the future. All because of our personal wealth and gain. And can I throw this out here? pull closer because of our egos. We're doing this stuff because nobody has checked us on it. Nobody, because our members have become so afraid of us. They've mistaken respect for fear. Our members have become so afraid of us where we co-sign on a mess. We co-sign on their foolishness. It has to stop. If we're going to be the church that God has called us to be, number one, we have to have integrity. We must have integrity. And it's just not so much in the streets. We got to have it. Not only do we need to have it inside the building, but we need to have it outside of the building as well. So people, when people see us in the streets, we ought to have the same attitude that we have at church and we do in the streets. And I found out that there are some things, and I didn't just find out. If I'm going to be a leader, if I'm called to preach, if I'm called pastor, there's a certain way I need to conduct myself outside of the four walls. And so that's why a lot of times when we're in leadership, we can't do everything that we see other folks do. And I said it this past Sunday, we can't continue to use the gift that God gave us to entertain a worldly crowd. So I can't be an effective preacher. I can't be an effective pastor if my conduct is not right. So I'm not a good pastor. I'm not a good preacher if y'all see me doing stuff ungodly. Because here's the thing, whenever you're in leadership, whenever you're out front, everything you do is magnified times 12. It's never, when you're in leadership, it's never them. It's always what they see you do. So even if I'm at a club, somebody will go back and say, well, you know what? I saw Pastor in the club, but they'll never tell that they was in the same club they saw you in. Or they saw Pastor and First Lady at Applebee's and they had empty frozen margaritas and on their tables, but they won't tell the fact that they had beer cans and other liquor on their table. It's never what they did, is what they saw you do. Is it fair? Is it fair? No. But that's a part of leadership. And my friend, Pastor Bryant Butler, tells me all the time. He says, no matter what you do in leadership, since you're the face, you and your wife are the face of this ministry, everything we do, everything we say rather, is magnified. So that's why sometimes we can't go to after hour spots. We can't go to happy hour, because not because we're grand, not because we're bougie, but because God has called us to a place where we're set apart. We have to be the example, because how can we lead somebody to Christ with a drink in our hands? Or I'm rolling up something, trying to tell somebody. It's going to be hard to believe. It's going to be hard to convince somebody you rolling up a blunt for medication or municipal purposes. Am I teaching good tonight, or am I teaching good? So if we're going to be the church that God has called us to be, we gotta get it right. And no, it's not ex- exposing exposing people is not going to get it. But we have there has to be some kind of accountability for our actions. Has to be some kind of repercussions. So cursing folks out is not going to get it. It may, and I'll be honest with you. Will it feel good? Maybe, to get it off your chest, but that's not the answer. The best thing we can do is pray for them. And then, as the preacher, as the leader, use the discernment that God has given you. Sometimes in our lives, sometimes we need to figure out, and I believe a lot of us are old enough to know when we've been taken advantage of. When uh, you ought to know when you've been played. Are you listening to me, friends? You should know by now. You've been here long enough to know when you've been played. And here's the thing. My thing is that I can talk to folks so good, and I can recognize foolishness in about the first 5 words that come out of your mouth. And God gives us discernment. He gives us discernment. He gives us discernment, some more than others. If you don't have it, I would recommend real soon you ask him for it. The Bible says if you ask him for it, he will give it to you liberally. Because their leaders, we have to be accountable, and those lay members have to be held accountable too. And leaders, we need to stop manipulating. And then, to our lay people, know when you're getting played. Yeah, I know this ain't good. I know this ain't good. I know y'all upset today. I know. I'll be back. I'll be back preaching Sunday at 7:25. I'll take a text. I'll take a text Sunday. Today we just talking. I'm not fussing, but we talking. If we're gonna go to the next level, if we're gonna be what God has called us to be, if we have been chosen for such a time as this, we need integrity, we need accountability on both sides. And if we grab those two, we'll be a force to be reckoned with. And all of God's people said together, amen. Maybe someone here on the line that has said, I've been that way. I've been taken advantage of. I've been misguided. I've been misled. I've been mishandled. Whatever your miss is, rather, Christ wants to be yours. Christ wants to be yours. Want to take this opportunity to offer Christ to you. Maybe someone here looking on this live right now, or you looking at it later on, and you're saying, brother preacher, I've tried it my way, and it seems like every time I try it my way, I end up in the same spot I started. You're absolutely right. I want to encourage you today to come. Come, just as you are. Come just as you are. Because if you come just as you are, you will not leave the same way you came. If you come just as you are, you will have the same testimony that I came to Jesus just as I was. I was weary, I was worn, and I was sad, but I found in him a resting place. And he's made me glad. Those that want to partner with us, please email us. Email us here. It's on the screen. Citadel of Life 3, Citadel of Life 3 at gmail.com. Or if you're on Facebook, leave us a message on our inbox. Me or First Lady will respond in a timely manner. If you want to go over the plan of salvation, we would love to do that. There may be someone here just saying, you know what, I can't get out. I can't get to the physical space. This is going to have to do right now. You may be confined somewhere. You may be working. I would love to be your virtual pastor. You can come as well. Come unto Jesus while you have time, because he'll make your life brand new. Oh, he will deliver you. Come unto Jesus while you have time. Housekeeping announcements. Once again, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for your continued support here at Citadel of Life Church on this virtual space. Trust me, at this point, we are believing God for a physical space. We are believing God to it. I believe if God has called us to it, he will provide. He will provide a way for us to do what God has called us to do in the physical space. Make certain that you join us every Sunday at 7:25 a.m. and then right here on Sundays. Sundays at 7:25 a.m. and then here on Wednesdays for our Bread of Life at 7:25 p.m. Also, installation is coming up November 9th, second Sunday. Please stay tuned for the date and times. A lot of people saying you ain't gave them. Nope, I ain't gave it yet. Please stay tuned for that. Now, next Wednesday, and we're gonna put it on there. We are going to recess the Bread of Life. We're going to recess Bread of Life on Wednesday because First Lady and I, we will be out of town. We will be meeting with our leaders we'll be meeting with our leaders with our Reformation that we are a part of. We'll be meeting with them in Jacksonville, Florida. So we will be handling kingdom business on next Wednesday. So we'll be leaving. Should, as my old pastor would say, should the Lord be slow in his return, we will be leaving on next Wednesday. But the following Sunday, we will be back on this space for our Citadel Worship Experience at 7:25 a.m. So next Wednesday, we will recess the we will recess the Bread of Life experience. We'll convene that following Sunday at 7:25 a.m. because First Lady, co-pastor, and I, we will be out of town handling kingdom business with our Reformation. Please keep our bishop in prayer, Bishop Michael Anthony Thurston. Keep him in prayer as he leads us this great Reformation. He leads us into this season. Our first assistant, Bishop Antonio Brooks, keep him in prayer as well too. Our second assistant, uh, Bishop Daniel Garrett, we want to keep him in prayer as well too. Also, do me a favor, every day, Monday through Friday, please look at Bishop Garrett. He does a morning meditation Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. I watch it myself. It blesses me every morning on my way to work. I'm looking at Bishop Garrett, and he has a great word to start the day. So those that are listening, those that are hearing, please definitely look at our second assistant, presiding bishop, Bishop Daniel Garrett, on his page. I share it every morning on my personal page, and he's been a blessing. He's always a blessing every time I I watch him. Amen. Listen, that's all we got for tonight. We are honored. We're privileged. Thank you for hanging out with us on tonight. I look forward to sharing the word of God with you on Sunday morning at 7:25 a.m. right here in this space, whether you're on Facebook Live or if you're in if you're on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you. And listen, do me a favor till I see you Sunday. Do me a favor, live life abundantly. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you is always our prayer. Until I see you Sunday morning.